Hello and welcome to this week's podcast, Chit Chat with me, Kate May, Modern Day Mystic. What a week I've had. So in this episode, we're going to catch up with Kate from the Diary of a Mystic. We're going to look at the new moon happening this week in Scorpio, what your tarot messages are for each day, and also how it connects to your Feng Shui. I also want to talk to you about unplanned ventures and how sometimes doing things randomly off the cuff actually work out to be the best thing ever. So let me catch you up with my week first of all. Last week I was so lucky to meet Kimberly, my Feng Shui teacher. I met her, she lives in Australia, and I met her a year ago, pretty much to the day, maybe a month out, when I signed up to do my Feng Shui course, and that was off the cusp. I hadn't planned to do that. And if you've listened to me before, you've probably heard a little bit of the story that we were on our way to I think down the beach in the September, October. And then on my phone came up that there was a mind, body, spirit fair. So we quickly did a U-turn. I said to my husband, to Cole, yes, let's go to this fair instead. And when we were there, a lady had a Feng Shui stall. I'd had Feng Shui done for the previous 5 years at home, and my Feng Shui lady there had told me that she, a few years ago, that she wasn't going to be doing it anymore, but I begged her just to stay on to do mine, which she did. And then in February I said, I promise I will get somebody new this year. Didn't realise that person would be myself. So I went to this fair, saw a Feng Shui stand, went over, said, oh my goodness, I'm really into this, etc, etc, and do you teach it, do you know anybody? And she said, I don't teach it, but I do know somebody. And she's just opened her doors, and there's about 4 days left on the doors opening before she closes it. I came home, googled her, signed up straight away, and have never looked back. Did not plan it. I was just fortunate to have had the money to be able to do that. And what was really lucky, the course was a 6,500, and although that's a lot of money, I knew that this was a real strong pull for me. But when I paid, it converted it, and what I was looking at was dollars, so it converted it into the English, which was pretty much half of that price. So I felt like I'd had a bit of a bonus anyway. I have definitely not looked back, and Kimberly, who taught the course, just Feng Shui Flow, amazing teacher and lovely lady. And last week, all the way from Australia, she flew over for her book launch, The Calm and Happy Home. So I went to London to meet her, to get the book signed and have a little bit of a catch up with her. And it was just so lovely, because not only did she become my Feng Shui teacher, and on this course we've spent every week together for 3 months, so you get to know each other a little bit. But in her group called So Much Love, a few months back she invited me to become the monthly tarot reader in there. And each month she looks at a different aspect of Feng Shui, and then I ask questions to the cards and talk about whatever is relevant to that particular month that she's picked. And so far so good. So super grateful, met some beautiful people in that group, and she didn't have to ask me to do that at all. So it was so lovely to thank her in person and to get my book signed, and just to meet her. And she was also over here doing some talks, which I couldn't go to because I was at another event. So I knew I had to get on that train and get to London and make my way to meet her. And that was a bit of a journey in itself. The trains were cancelled, first of all, delayed. I think there was 3 cancellations, and I ended up part of the journey, and I was thinking, am I meant to go to this? Is there too many signs? The stubbornness, the Taurus stubbornness in me was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make sure I get there. And although it took a bit longer, it was well worth it. And I was only able to spend about an hour, 45 minutes there, but I would do it all again tomorrow because it really was worth it. And I just thought, do you know, she's come from all the other side of the world. The least I can do is rock up after a couple of hours on the train there. So really lovely day that was. And then the weekend that we've just had, which is why I couldn't go to one of her events, was I was booked to do some tarot workshops and a tarot demonstration at a spiritual retreat weekend, which is, I love doing talks, absolutely love doing talks and sharing to you guys what I know. And though it was a sellout, I think there was about, I don't know, between 90 and 120, I forget what you said now, people. And yeah, fabulous weekend, and got to catch up with some friends that were also there that I hadn't seen for a while. So it was nice to social and lovely to be able to share the tarot demonstration. So we managed to get around quite a lot of people with that, and to share about how to start using cards. And what was really lovely, the feedback of, and I do get this quite a bit, so I must be doing something right there, when people say that they learn, they've been to different tarot courses and classes, and then the way that I explain the cards and deliver the cards and how I interpret how they go together, the feedback is always like, you make it so easy, the pennies just dropped, we understand it now, it's a lot clearer, it's that simplified way of learning, which I'm a fairly simple person, so I need to do things slowly, and that's how I teach it there. And there are a few people that have said they're going to do the online tarot e-course, so that is up now on my website, kate-may.co.uk. if you want to learn the tarot, particularly for the new 2026 energy. You can buy the course, I think it's £177, and that includes every single file for all the cards. That includes the downloaded workbook, the journal, and access to my monthly tarot group, where we do a live once a month. So if you've got any questions throughout that course, although it's an e-course, you've got a chance every month to be able to talk to me face to face on Zoom and ask any questions. And it's an active group where people practice. So if tarot is the thing that you want to do next, then definitely look that course up, or just message me for more details. So it's a great weekend. Came home proper cold, started to watch the I'm a Celeb, which is all about, for me, the countdown to Christmas as well, really get in the mood. But the weather's definitely shifted now, and it's nice that it's not raining, and I like that crisp coldness and the sun. So came back to that after going in torrential rain on the way there. So it's been a good week. I sold out of all my card decks, so I now have 0 card decks left, and I am in talks with somebody to reproduce the next deck. They will be exactly the same, however I have just tweaked the wording on them, not so much the tarot but the astrology, because there was a few that come out that I was just not quite happy with how it flowed. So I've tweaked a couple of words, and I've made the book a little bit more of an easy read book with it. Also, the change will be on the box. I'm going to have a new box design, and I'm thinking I might have some of the words, at least the title, in a shiny gold. So we will see what happens with that once I've spoken to her. But there will be a whole new batch coming out, and the Mystic May message deck, which sold out over a year ago now, and I've been meaning to get that deck reproduced, just haven't done it. So that will be reproduced at the same time. So certainly in the new year they'll be available. I sold out of my books, the manifestations with tarot, I can't remember what it's called now, but the manifestation tarot book. So that is now sold out. I literally think there's about 4 copies left, 5 copies left on Amazon. When they go, they go. It's being discontinued because of the new book that I'm writing for a publisher has a crossover of information. So that one is only now available as a download on my website there, rather than a book form there. On my website is also an updated free tarot and free Feng Shui downloads there. They've been updated today, as well as some, I think they range from between 11 and 22 for some symbols, psychic development, astrology, other Feng Shui, other tarot information on the downloads there. And I will be creating a new video on Feng Shui, but not until the new year, just time-wise. I've had a little bit of an influx of Feng Shui home analysis as well, which I'm super grateful for. And again, the bulk of that will get done in the new year now, because in January we get given the new numbers. So that changes all the remedies. So from January, I get given the new numbers from the lovely Kimberly, and then I will be, those that have had their analysis, you'll be given new numbers. Those that haven't and that have booked will be getting them straight away in January. So if you're looking to make 2026 your best year yet, the best time to have it done is for January, ready for February. Then you've got a whole year of the remedies working for you. And I can tell you, as a family in this home, we have had one of the most successful years that I can remember there. It's been a magical year on many, many, many levels for all of us. Cat's getting in my way. So yes, that's a little bit of what I've been up to this week, and certainly it feels that things are starting to calm down around me now. I'm now in the position where I can really concentrate on this book, so I'm into chapter 3 or 4 of it, and I've started to make some connections to get a bit further afield, shall we say. If you saw my post last week on the globe on Instagram, how to attract clients from across the seas, or how to encourage more work connected to overseas, that globe is in my money area, the southeast, and the intention is to make money from travel. So watch this space, we'll see what happens. I will also be putting that another globe in this area. Now, up where I am now, this is my southwest area, this is my success area, and I have my book, my diary, Feng Shui Tarot Manifesting Diary, which is sold really well, really pleased. If you want to grab that, then it's £11 on Amazon there, or you can buy it from me and I can send it and post it to you if you go to my website. So this is my success area. Now you can find your success area again on the personal element download on my website, and that will tell you where to put things like your vision boards, the best place to sit when you're perhaps applying for jobs or relationships, how best to position yourself, but also your magic number, and that will never change. And in the download, not only can you find it for yourself, but you can find it for your friends, for your family. It's all there. The grid and the working out is all there. It's very easy to use. So if you want to know what colours to wear to enhance opportunities, or for different things like talks, interviews, working with clients, doing perhaps fairs, getting out there doing fairs, or if you just want to have a bit more love, confidence, money, whatever it is, it talks about it all in that download there. So very interesting, and it talks about colours not only that will enhance you, but also that could drain you, and they may be colours that you didn't expect. But it's very interesting, the colours that drain me, which I used to wear, I'm just not drawn to. I haven't worn those certain colours forever, and I've definitely juiced my wardrobe up this year, which has given a glow up on many levels, shall we say. It's very interesting, I love it. But understanding where to put your vision board, or where to bring your success area in, I think is a bit of a game changer anyway. So let's have a look at the astrology this week. We have the new moon in Scorpio. Now, Scorpio's energy is about death, rebirth, transformation. So this week we have a transformative period. Now, last week on my Instagram, pretty much every day, or TikTok, pretty much every day, we saw the Ten of Swords, the end of a difficult time. We saw the Death card come in. We saw the Eight of Cups, walking away from what no longer serves. We saw a lot of energy about leaving things behind, changing. Now, this whole year has been connected to the snake, which is shedding. Now, there has been so many of my clients that have made big changes this year, let go what no longer serves, or found themselves in a position where they're stopping that friendship, shedding that job, moving home. It's the kind of decluttering year. Next year, when we move into the horse, it's all about memento and changes that come from moving forward and becoming more aligned with the right energy with you. So the astrology this week with the new moon in Scorpio connects to those changes, those endings. So it's worth asking yourself, what needs to change? What needs to come to an end? What needs to transform and give a rebirth? Now, the death card isn't about a new beginning, it's about an ending. It will form and lead into a new beginning, but first we have to have that ending. So it's almost like the card after, or the energy after the death card, is the rebirth. So this week with Scorpio, which is on the 20th, maybe do a little meditation on the death card. Maybe have a look at in your life what you need to move and shift. And this could be areas of your home that you're getting rid of things. This could be people or areas in your outer life as well there. It will be really good to put your crystals out on that night, particularly because it's about letting go and cleansing the old and releasing into this new energy, this transformative energy, and setting your intention with those crystals about what it is that you want to move into there. Now, just before I go into the tarot, I want to talk to you about the random acts that end up being amazing. Now, I've certainly over my career lifestyle, but also my personal life, I have become much more aware of things that have paid off when I actually don't put any real planning to it. And that can be a good thing, a blessing and a curse, I guess. When I started doing the tarot, that was definitely not planned. I planned to be a beauty therapist. I was already a retail manager. I'd been doing that for maybe 10 years, maybe a bit more. And that was my career path. I gave up the retail to have my children and be a stay-at-home mum and just perhaps do some beauty and kind of build that business. That's what I thought. But looking back, I know my heart wasn't in it. And it wasn't particularly successful. It was all right. It ticked over a little bit. But I know that I didn't feel like it was something I really wanted to do compared to what I'm doing now. And I didn't know that at the time. So I was kind of flogging a dead horse, really. The energy looking back was not in alignment with my vibration, that's for sure, because I was doing it for the money, wasn't really doing it because I wanted to do it, but I didn't know all the difference about vibrations then. The tarot was built from just doing a few friends at a toddler group to then becoming booked monthly, every other week, to weekly, to daily. And it took me a little while to realise, oh, perhaps this is the area that I need to put into. It was literally like a thought was in my head of, oh, that penny dropping moment. And I'd been to see a medium and he'd said to me, something you're doing is going to take off. And at the time I was doing Chocoholics, I was doing Betterware, I was doing Avon, all to just try and scramble a bit of cash together, really, when the children were babies. And none of it really worked. And I was thinking, what's he talking about? He must be really rubbish because he's saying that something's going to take off and it hasn't. And then I don't know how many months later, it suddenly dawned on me. Oh, I've got some action going on. I think it's the cat, both cats are coming in here. It suddenly dawned on me that, oh, it could be the tarot. Perhaps that's the way, because that was building quite nicely in the background without a plan. And then I thought I'm going to do an advanced course in it and get to know what the cards are, which is what I did. And then bingo, everything fell into place and it became very successful without too much effort around it. So I know that I was definitely in how things worked for me to get with the right people, to be able to get doing the cards. There's a story out there that I've shared before. Really weird how that came about. So that was definitely the universe of this is what you should be doing. So I didn't put a plan to the tarot, and it's been very, very, very successful for me without much effort of having to really flog it. And I talk about it and I share about it because I love it. It doesn't feel like I'm flogging anything. It feels like I'm just sharing experiences there. And the same as the Feng Shui. I didn't plan on doing the Feng Shui at all. Like I said, rocked up at this fair, all fell into place. And initially, I was doing it thinking this is going to be doing it for myself so that I can do my own home. And during the course, it was so hard at the beginning, so hard. I'm not very good with maps, and this connects to maps of the home. And I remember quite a few weeks thinking, I'm just not going to get, I can't get it. I just can't get it. And she had said that in a minute, everybody, those that are struggling, you'll just get it and it will all fall into place. And it's taken longer. And I was thinking, I just don't know. But I had done my cards on it many times during that course, and they were all really good. And I also had my yearly person, Donna, that I go and see every year. She had said to me that it will be successful, but it would be slow and it will come a bit later on. So I was like, if it's going to be successful, I must get it. There must be a point in this course that I get it. But I couldn't see it at the beginning, and I was in a bit of a state with it, really. And then it just fell into place. It just fell into place. And this week, the analysis that I've been doing for people this week, I haven't even had to go back to my notes. It's the first bunch that I've done where I can just remember it now. So, and it's become a lot more busier now. And this work in the last year of talking about it is really starting to pay off. But again, I love talking about it, and even if nothing came of it, I'd still carry talking. But I am grateful that things are taking off in that direction now. Not something I planned, something I randomly did, and it's very much paying off for itself on more than one level there. And I don't know how many talks I've done this year, but I've absolutely loved it. I'm so grateful, and they've really opened up some doors of opportunity. Plus, obviously, doing my own home, game changer of opportunities there. Few other things that I've done randomly. So when I first qualified as a beauty therapist, and I'd done several years at college to train in that, I was about 19, and I went for a job as a masseur. I got offered the job straight away, and I should have just took that because that's what I'd done all the training. And instead, I was also offered a factory job of an evening, and I was working in a shoe shop in the day, and in orders in a department store. Also, I had a part-time manager job in running a clothes department within a big department store, part-time job in Freeman Hardy Willis selling shoes that I'd had since I was 14, and then I was offered this evening job to do factory. So all of those three together combined worked out a lot more money than what this masseur one did. And what was really interesting, I know, looking back, that was a sliding door moment for me. Now, if I'd have taken the masseur job at 19, I know I would have got into all this holistic thing around that age. It would have, that kind of work, I would have opened up those opportunities, met people that would have been in that world, and I know it would have been, exactly where I needed to go. But something was just saying to me, don't do it. It was, I can't even remember what the money was, but it was a lot less, and I would have had to have given up all those other two. At the same time, I was having a bit of a breakdown. My mum hadn't long left our home overnight as a bit of a shock and a surprise. So I'm thinking this must have been about the October, November, maybe November, because it was a Christmas factory job over the Christmas period for Marks and Spencer's, but put in potpourri into the Christmas gift bags. So it must have been about the November-ish. And my mum left home suddenly towards the end of September. And my theory behind, apart from the fact that it was more money, was I didn't want to be at home. So I thought if I get a factory job, then it means I'm out all day and I'm get changed, I'm out again in the evening. I just didn't want to be at home because it was all weird. So that's what I did. I said no to the masseur job, thinking I was going to go for it. I mean, I went for the interview, I was all rocked up for it, and then just changed my mind at the last minute. Had a great laugh with the factory girls. Then I had a great laugh for the next 10 years in it was the 90s, and met some amazing people, had some amazing memories there. And I know that if I'd have gone down the masseur road, I wouldn't have had that same experience, because it would have been working with very different vibrations, higher vibrations to a degree, and I was in the path of a lower vibration. If you think of the fact that drinking, partying is on a lower vibration, and that the spiritual work is on a higher, if you look at it like that, I was definitely on the lower. I didn't care because I was a right ball with it. and nothing's wrong. So I was meant to have taken that. There's been several things in my life where when I die, I'm going to look back and go, I'm just going to see what my life would have been had I gone through that. There's pockets, there's about 3 or 4 significant changes that I made by turning left instead of turning right, shall we say. And that was the second one that had happened to me. So randomly, I took these other jobs. My life went into a different direction and I had a great time. But then when I came into my 30s, and had my children, part in stopped, and I wanted to get really into the spiritual things, joined a group, started to go to circles, got back into it all there, and certainly into my 40s really developed quite strongly there. So I know that the universe, I needed to do this, but I was like, let's just have a bit of a detour. But then the universe got me back on it randomly through the tarot, through going to a baby group that I hadn't planned. So, there's things I believe that are quite set, but you have the free will to go left or right. But if you're meant to be in a destination, it's almost like destiny versus your free will. If you're meant to be at a destination, and I've done a chat on this before, you'll get there, even if it's, you go around the houses, whatever you need to experience, you can experience through your free will. Had I have gone to this masseur job, I still would have had to experience the things I did in the 20s and 30s, but it would have been probably in a different way, but I chose it this way. Other random things that paid off. I moved to Spain overnight, sold my house, moved to Spain very quickly, within about 3 months, just deciding I had a very good job, good career in the retail. I was quite a high manager. And then my mother-in-law, sister-in-law were moving to Spain separately. So I just said to my boyfriend, who ended up being my first husband, let's do it, let's just move. So we sold up and moved to Spain. And out there, I was working as a waitress in a cocktail bar, and it was great fun. It was the hardest job I ever had, I have to say. Having been a waitress was the hardest job I ever had. But what a great experience, and some very funny moments happened out there. I didn't last too long though, 3 months, and I was really, really homesick. Not very good with change, really homesick. Lots of things that didn't work with me out there. I don't drive, and I was having to be driven literally just to post a letter. Didn't have the internet. I mean, if I'd gone out there now, I guess things would be very different, because we didn't have phones back then. We didn't have the internet back then. Things were very, very different. I think the internet was just starting to come out then. I was about 27, just starting to come out. We did have phones, but they were like the bricks. And it was Friends United, I remember just about being around that time, but I didn't get into that until I come back. Facebook wasn't around. So it was very different. So had I gone out now, who knows what would happen. Anyhow, I didn't like it, came back, started all over again, because I'd sold my house. I had to live at my mum's for a little while, and then find a house to live, find a job to have. And again, it all kind of came in quite quickly. Got another management retail job. But it was the spiritual things that were still starting to flick up. And I was about 30 then. So I knew that I wanted to start settling down and having children, which, obviously I did, going on there. And the people that I started to meet in these new jobs that I was going for had a bit of a spiritual connection to them. So that got me really into it. So again, randomly left Spain overnight, came back here, had to start all over again and build everything up. And we were in a lot of debt as well, because we'd sold our house. I don't know what happened to the money. I've got an idea that my husband probably sniffed a lot of it, which is why he's my ex, shall we say. So we were in big debt, no house, no money, no job, literally started all over again. But we did it. And then another random thing, and in Spain, I remember having a job, one waitress job, and within half an hour, so there was 6 of us that drove out there to Spain. It's another story actually, I'll tell you. And me and the girl that I lived with, Kat, we got a job in a bar, and we were in there about half an hour. I remember cleaning forks with gin or vodka. That was what we were doing, one after the other. Oh, it took forever. Anyway, within half an hour, I was thinking, no, this ain't me. They put our bags in some lockers, took the locker away and went off. And I said to Kat, this ain't for me. She's like, this ain't for me. So I was like, let's just go, let's just leave. But because our bags were in our lockers, I can't even remember how we got the lockers, I can't remember how we got that. All I remember is that we jumped out of a window and ran. But because we'd only just moved to Spain, we didn't know where we were running to. We didn't know the roads. None of the roads were built properly. That was another problem while we were there. We were living on in a base that had no road to it, so we had to be driven everywhere. But we ran on. I don't know how we got home. And when we got home, what was really funny, I can't even I don't think I could share that story, but let's just say when we got home, the guys that we were living with had another random person that was in the house, because he was found running around with a saucepan. But that's another story. So quite a lot of random things happened. Oh my goodness, there's so many stories that happened in Spain. But yes, afterwards, very quickly, we decided to come back, and things just fell into place. Wasn't long before we got a house, wasn't long before we got a job, wasn't long before things moved on. We got married, and things progressed from there. The children, we did plan that. I should have left before getting married, but we didn't. Obviously, we meant to have the children. Anyway, lots of acts of random that have just worked out in my favour. I left my husband literally on one particular day, came home, just said to him, we weren't in a good place. We had many years where it wasn't in a good place. And I just said to him, I think we should be friends. He said, yeah, I agree. It was quick as that. And then I said, want a cup of tea? He was doing the ironing. He's like, yeah. And we just done and dusted. And literally, as soon as that was over, then I got connected to Cole. Things fell into place very quickly. And it was like, oh, my soul was like, there you've been. So lots of these things that weren't, I never planned to leave him. I kind of thought that I probably wouldn't live out my life with him. I didn't plan to leave him. Didn't plan to go to Spain. Didn't plan to, and we had such a good time, so many funny memories. Didn't plan to go to do the tarot. Didn't plan to do the Feng Shui. And there's lots of things that I've done randomly that have just fallen into place. And then there's things that I've done where I've took so much time. I tried to build a business before, a spiritual promotions business. And although it was successful financially on one hand, it was also like pulling teeth. And I spent way too much time on that. And my cards kept saying, I kept bringing the death card up. It's like, oh, I need to end it. But I was so stubborn, I didn't. And I kept thinking, no, I'm going to make this work. And it didn't really work in the end. So I did fold it. And I started to recognise that the things I was planning and ideas that I were having, I was almost having too many ideas. They were all coming at me and I was acting on them and trying to force them to happen. The stuff that was building up quite nicely without any energy was really building for me. And I started to learn the difference in my mind between, and this is where I got into the vibrational things, between when it's a thought and it's kind of back at the back of me, or when it's a thought that's at the front. And then I could gauge whether it's an idea that needs to go straight forward and I crack on with it, or whether I park it to a bit later on. And that was a bit of a game changer. People that have come into my lives. So when my lovely Gemma came in, she came in randomly again to a business networking meeting. I was saying I need someone to help me do some admin work. I was getting a bit stressed with doing assistant work and trying to run this business and that business. She's like, I've just left my job. What about if I come do some work? I was like, yeah, that'd be great. And then she messaged and said, I'm actually a therapist by trade. Do you have anyone in the shop to do it? I was like, oh, I actually haven't got any space. Cole was working for me at the time. And I didn't know her. And I said, I haven't got any space. And then a day or two later, Cole got offered a job. He said to me, Kate, I can't work with you anymore. And I was like, okay, I'm going to be on my own. Can't be on my own. I need someone to help run the shop. And I was like, Gemma. Contacted Gemma. She came in. Game changer. Still absolutely adore her. In fact, I've seen her today. And the people that started to come in and do bits here and there, I just random. We had a lovely lady came in off the street. I was probably a bit too quick for this. And she just said, I don't want to get paid for any work. I just want to get off the streets, basically. I want something to do. And there was a bit of a back story to that. which I won't share, but I was like, yeah, sure, come in, do some voluntary work. Within a couple of weeks, I was like, I really like her. She was ever so good. Do you want a paid job? So she came in and started to be paid, and that got me into the mindset, oh, okay, I can have some staff. Let's do this. Let's have staff there. And just, I don't know, just funny things started to click into place there when I started to push back the things that I was trying to force, and when I was starting to just go with the flow and see what was building quite naturally. And I've always said that success comes from doing something that you love. And these other areas that I was trying that didn't quite go how I originally planned is because I didn't love it, because I wasn't passionate about it and as much as I was these other areas. So I want to just say to you guys, if you're flogging a dead horse, if there's something that's just really challenging, really difficult, maybe it's not meant to be. If there's something that's building and it's just forming and it's like all happening, and I know some clients just popped into my head, I know some people that are like, this is so easy, da 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 da, that's where you're meant to be. So sometimes an act of randomness is absolutely what you need. That leap of faith sometimes is exactly what you need. Now, I don't want any responsibility for anybody leaving their partners overnight or jacking their job in. That's down to you. I'm just telling you how it worked for me there. But joking aside, I do think sometimes the random stuff is the key to taking you from one stage to another and getting you where you want to be. And although we think it's random, it's actually not random. The universe know exactly what they're doing. And what I've learned over the years is when you work in alignment with the universe, it just gets easier and easier. And when you can understand that difference between your head brain and your heart brain, your stomach brain, your soul brain, or your ego, when you can learn the difference between the two and get soul-led instead of ego-led, that is another game changer there. And I shared it last week when we spoke about the different energies, the man energy, the earth energy, the home's energy there, that heaven's energy, that when you're in alignment and you come from that man luck and you start to work on the right vibration and not just, I want to manifest this, let's do this, but when you start to really be in that true vibrational energy, that manifestation happens because it's all set up ready in the bigger plan. You don't really have to do anything for that plan. You can just jump in because it's the right thing, and the universe has that plan already mapped out, already backed up. I mean, you know, I've said it before, without a doubt, Cole and I were meant to meet, without a doubt there. Literally, as soon as we hooked up, and I was a bit slow in recognising that, but as soon as we hooked up, I was like, this is it. This is my man. This is my person. And that soulmate energy is just like, you know, when you get it there. And the way that we met in the spiritual world, but the fact that I'd worked with his mum when I was 15, bizarre. So without a doubt, the universe had its own plan there. So sometimes it's just trust. Sometimes just trust. Okay, and recognize what's working and what's not. And that again comes in this week with that new moon in Scorpio, that new birth from the old, this Feng Shui year of this snake, the rebirth of the shedding there. I mean, next year you'll see lots of changes, but there'll be more in the form of the memento to move you forward from all of this change that's happened this year. So I just want to share, just sometimes do a random act. Okay, let's have a look at your cards for every day this week. So today, Monday, we have the Strength card. So we may need to be a bit tactful today. You might need to be a bit kind on yourself, a bit gentle on yourself, but also perhaps a bit tactful with other people. You are blessed with the power of strength today, though, so you can handle things there. But it's about that sensitivity of being kind, being caring and tactful, not aggressive, getting people to eat out of the palm of your hands. Tomorrow we have the moon, Tuesday we have the moon. So there could be a bit of unsettled energy. I would certainly pay attention to your dreams, to signs and symbols that are around you tomorrow. This unsettled energy always passes, but just like the moon's phases, sometimes we've got to go through a patch where we're not sure if we're coming or going, Arthur or Martha, for a little while. But just settle through it without having to stress, go with the flow, but certainly pay attention to the symbols and signs and dreams. Then on Wednesday, we have the caution card of just being a bit cautious about your money, what's coming in, what's going out, and that flexibility so you're not making yourself too stuck in something. We don't want to sign up for something and then be overcommitted, and at the same time we don't want to be saying no to everything that we're stopping ourselves from growing. So it's about finding that balance. Also Wednesday, if you're looking at going shopping at all, I would say just be careful about what you spend your money on, and that you're not too generous, but at the same time you're not too tight. It's all about balance there. Bit of caution, I would say, Wednesday. I'm off to London Wednesday to the V&A to see the Mary Antoinette exhibition there. So I shall be mindful at what I buy. Thursday, we have lots of opportunities coming in. Things are going to get fast, furious, in an exciting way Thursday. You might feel that everything is a little bit up in the air Thursday, but it all fall into place there. So again, trust the process. But Thursday is an action day. Thursday's the day to get going with things. I believe Thursday could be the new moon in Scorpio. Is that the 20th, 17th, 18th? I think Thursday's the new moon in Scorpio. So this is great to do a new moon altar or to do a new moon ritual to bring in this new energy of new opportunities. Travel could be highlighted Thursday as well. Friday, we have the justice, so we could be looking at legal work, important documents, important paperwork, and getting a balance of whatever it is you've got around you. That settles down Friday. Also with the justice card, decisions could be made to set the stone for the next chapter around you. And decisions are final, I would say, like something is final. We get to know something come Friday. Be accountable for your actions. Put your money where your mouth is. If you say you're going to do it, do it. Saturday, we have a whole new world. We have a whole new chapter coming around you. Loose ends tied up, things coming full circle. Again, travel opportunities could come in around you. We're ready for expanding on Saturday. We're ready to start moving forward. Now, as Saturn is the influence of the astrology connected to this card, it's about our lessons that we've learned from this last chapter, what we're going to take over into the new chapter so that we're not naive. And then Sunday we have celebrations. I was tempted to get my Christmas tree up on Sunday just because I'm away the following one, which is the beginning of the December where I normally put it up. But I think I'm going to hold fire just because, again, it's another Feng Shui thing. But I'm going to talk about that next week, Christmas and Feng Shui. So Sunday we have celebrations, we have some party energy, we have letting your hair down, spending time with people that you love in good company and doing things that bring joy to you. There could be some reasons to celebrate as well on Sunday. So get the wine out or the hot chocolate, however you want to celebrate, and do things that are a bit fun around you on Sunday. But certainly I would look at collaborating, reaching out to friends, making that call, sending that text, maybe arranging your Christmas parties there. But good news is coming on Sunday. So, my lovelies, there you have this week's podcast chit chat. I hope it's inspired you in some way. If nothing else, just to perhaps do an act of random and see where it goes from that. It'll be lovely to hear some stories. So do feel free to share your random acts and any other stories that you have. Always interested to hear your points of view and your stories. And talking of stories, on my Instagram story today, if you're watching this on Monday, then there is the option to ask me a question for tonight's live. 6 o'clock on Mondays, I go live on Instagram and answer your tarot Feng Shui questions. This could be about anything. It could be about a Feng Shui thing, or it could be something personal. Am I going to meet the man? And then I will tell you what the best way to do that is. Whatever your questions are, drop them to me on Instagram, please, or you can leave a comment on this channel here, and they will be live on Monday at 6 o'clock. If you miss that, then drop another question in after today and I will pick it up next Monday for next Monday's live chat. But every Sunday I put out a post on my Instagram stories to let you know it's open for your questions. And of course, if you want to book a reading or a Feng Shui session, get in contact with me on www.kate-may.co.uk. But have a beautiful week. Until next time.